Welcome back to Capitol Review. President Trump's big, beautiful bill passed the House, and now it's in the hands of the Senate. And some members of the Republican majority have expressed concerns, many saying that it would increase the debt over time. Returning to Capitol Review is Dr. Todd Belt, director of the Political Management Program at George Washington University. Dr. Belt, welcome back.
Great to be with you, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
We're always glad to have you. What did the Senate get done this week on the big, beautiful bill, and where does it go from here?
Well, what happened was the Senate did their markup of the bill, which is they made some changes here and there. And there were some things on the margin and some things that were a little bit more incendiary for some of the members. Remember that by the time they get to this bill, it's going to have to pass both the House and the Senate. It has to go back to the House again because it'll be a little bit different because of these markups. And right now, it looks like the biggest changes that they've made is they've increased the amount of cuts to Medicaid, which threatens the bill, and they have also reduced some of the amount that's going for immigration, and they got rid of that increase in the provision for what's called SALT, the state and local taxes deduction. It went from a $10,000 threshold to $40,000 in the House. The Senate kicked it back down to $10,000. So there are a number of senators and House members on either side of this that look like they could stall this because you can only lose 3 in either chamber if you're the Republicans.
Immigration, Dr. Belt, continues to be a big talker. Is this bill going to give President Trump what he wants to move forward with mass deportations and border enforcement?
It's going to give him a lot of what he wanted. In terms of the House bill, it was close to $168 billion, and the Senate looks like it's about $120 billion. It depends on where you're looking because some of, as we know, some of the reserves can be used and supplement some of what's going on. A lot of this is for border wall construction and for the construction of detainment facilities. And that's what's really lacking for Donald Trump to be able to carry out these deportations. He has to put these people somewhere, and they need more immigration judges, and this bill provides that. And they just need more personnel, and that's also what this bill provides for.
Dr. Belt, what is the administration's response at this point to the resistance to the protest of these ICE arrests and deportations?
Right, well, we've got a couple of different things going on right now. Of course, Donald Trump, when he saw the No Kings rally and the resistance to the deportations in Los Angeles, they were using that to double down. Donald Trump has said, we're going to do more arrests. But at the same time, Donald Trump has been saying to businesses, we're going to take it easy on hospitality, on agriculture, and on the building trades, because he knows that those could be extremely inflationary. But he also is surrounded by some hardliners like Stephen Miller, who have been telling ICE that they need to do more. So you have two things going on at the same time. And this week, they've really actually stepped up those raids on agriculture and meatpacking.
Obviously, the big, beautiful bill, very important to President Trump in his second term. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that they will do whatever it takes to get the bill across the finish line. Can you see that happening?
This is Thuns Big Test. He hasn't been here before, and he's really going to have to try to find a way to get it done. On one side, you have 4 senators who could, you can only lose 3. He has 4 that are really opposing on Medicaid grounds. Those are Hawley, Murkowski, Justice, and Collins. And then on the other side, you have 4 that think that the bill doesn't cut spending enough. And that's Mike Lee, Ron Johnson, Rick Scott, and Roger Marshall. And he has to balance those. In addition to that, he's got 2 people, Shelley Moore Capito and Tom Tillis, who are upset that it's cutting too much of the green energy credits. Their states have actually moved more towards green energy, and there's more businesses in those states. So there's a lot of balls he's got in the air. It's going to be difficult to see how he can do this. I think for sure he's going to have to call in Donald Trump to be the closer to put pressure on these senators.
And Dr. Belt, quickly, any of those senators' names that you mentioned, do they have from within that John McCain thumbs down moment?
We're going to see. This is really difficult with Donald Trump. You really have to have that real independent streak, and we don't see any more never-Trumpers in the Republican Party anymore the way we used to.
Dr. Todd Belt, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thanks. Great to be with you.